What's going on YouTube? In this video, I want to talk about the 3 best places to get leads, specifically for either email copywriting, inbound closing, or setting. Where do you find the email addresses that you're going to cold email? That's what we talk about on this channel. If you don't get your prospect contact information, who the hell are you going to reach out to? Before we get into it, make sure to book a free strategy call below. If you're someone that's stuck and doesn't know where to go, you don't know what to charge for email copywriting, inbound closing, or setting, you are completely lost, you don't know how to get clients, you don't even know how to fulfill the service if you did land a client, make sure to book that free strategy call. We'll point you in the right direction, give you massive clarity. And also too, don't forget to get into our free Facebook group below where you can network with your tribe of people that want to also get the hell out of their jobs, learning the 3 best methods. So where do you get these email leads? I'm going to keep this super simple and straight to the point. Number 1 is going to be a tool called Apollo. And this is super hot in the online cold email space right now specifically. There are other competitors coming into the space, but Apollo has been pretty hot for a couple years now at least. And the benefits of Apollo are that you can get leads from it and use it as an outbound tool as well. So it's an all-in-one tool. It does miss some critical components for some people. It's not always critical. For example, one of the pieces that it does not have is warm-up, but you don't really need a warm-up tool if you know what you're doing. But that is a nice tool to have in your arsenal if you're cold emailing. And it doesn't have the ability to easily create multiple email accounts, just mainly just one. And that's a big downfall when you're cold emailing. But for getting started, it's a great tool. And it's actually free to send cold emails. But automated cold emails. I mean, obviously it's free to send emails from a Gmail account, but automated where it goes, the follow-up goes out afterward. And that's one of the biggest things that holds newbie entrepreneurs back is they don't have a good follow-up system, so they wonder why they never get clients because they're not following up. With Apollo, how it works is inside their database, they have about 200 to 300 million leads. And right there, that's a great spot to get started with. That's how many email addresses are in their database. But you got to remember, if you're using those leads, so are your competitors. Now, it doesn't really matter that your competitors are using them because they're not sending the same exact cold emails as you. They don't have the same offers as you. They have different services that they're offering. So it's fine to have that overlap. But if you're using the same database as, let's just say, someone that's using the exact same templates as you or someone that has the same exact offer as you, that might give you problems because that prospect is going to receive emails from both companies. And if they have any edge over you, they'll get the business versus you. So that's one of the downfalls of using a already established, very public database is your competitors are using the same exact data. It's sort of a lazy way to get leads, but it's a great way to get started and you can definitely use it. Number 2 is good old-fashioned LinkedIn. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is way better than LinkedIn, but LinkedIn works just fine. There's at least 800 million leads. Now, not everyone on the site is going to be a good person to cold email. They're not all business owners on LinkedIn. But it's still a great tool to have to get email addresses that Apollo may have never gotten. And LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a very close competitor to Zoom Info as far as the kind of information you're going to pull from it. And LinkedIn Sales Navigator is only $100 a month. With a scraper, it's like $30. So $130 a month versus Zoom Info, which is like $10 grand a year. Ridiculous how expensive Zoom Info is. That's why I'm not including Zoom Info as one of the top 3 methods here. That's for people that are already making a shitload of money and can afford that kind of tool. Zoom Info is the ultimate lead tool, by the way, because it's all clean, it's organized, and has really good data. But LinkedIn. So how do you get LinkedIn leads? So Apollo, you're going to go on their site and they just give it to you. Here's the leads. You filter by what you need. You want to target agencies, you want to target coaches, you want to target e-com stores. You just filter and you get the leads pretty quickly. With LinkedIn, you're either going to do it one by one. So let's just say you were targeting e-commerce stores. You would go on the free tool on Google. I have a video on this. Figure out which stores are using Shopify. Then find the owner of that company on LinkedIn and pull their email with a free extension. There's many different extension tools that can pull the email. That's the singular way, the one by one way. It works fine. The bulk method is LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and you can filter leads a lot better with that tool. You can really filter out who you want and who you don't want way better than the free tool of LinkedIn. That's how you use LinkedIn. So you're either going to use the one by one method where you go to the individual profile and hit the button and it scrapes that phone number and email for that specific lead if it has any, or you're going to do bulk with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. But again, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is $100 plus $30 for a scraper is $130 a month. If you have the budget, I highly recommend LinkedIn Sales Navigator. The third best place to get email addresses, and remember too, with LinkedIn, it's 800 million leads. So you just got to get to work. Like you're just if you don't have the clients you need, there's unlimited leads. You'd have to cold email for the rest of your life to get through all those leads. The third and final method is a great method as well. It's going into Facebook groups, and there's unlimited Facebook groups. Only groups that contain your ideal prospects. So let's just say you were targeting e-commerce stores. It'd be great to get into groups where, let's say the group's all about a Shopify plugin. You know that everyone in there is using that Shopify plugin. So you know that there's Shopify store owners, or they might be more obvious, just Shopify store owners. It's a big group of them. You go in there and all those people in there have stores, so it's easy. You just start outreaching these people. If you're doing coaches, you want to get into coaching groups where all the coaches hang out. But keep in mind, not everyone in these groups is going to be your ideal prospect. If you're in a coaching group, there are going to be other people that are copywriters, closers, setters in these groups. So they're not all coaches. You're going to get this with anything. It's not always going to be perfect situation. You have to siphon through these people. But let's just say you were in a group, right? In a Facebook group, and you see someone that's obviously a coach. Well, Facebook isn't going to give you their email, but Instagram will. So you try to backtrack them to Instagram. Go on Instagram on your phone, and you can see the email address if they have it. Simple as that. That's your email address. That's a great way to filter. And you're also, by the way, when you do these kinds of methods, when you go on Facebook groups, trace them back to Instagram, you are really setting yourself apart from your competitors, because your competitors are not doing this. Most people are lazy. They just want to go and buy leads on Fiverr, or they want to go and just scrape big databases. They're lazy. So if you're willing to do that back and forth, you're definitely going to land on countless leads that no one else is targeting, no one else is cold emailing, because they're not as famous, but they have your money. They're waiting to pay someone to do this service. So you got to think about it like that. The easier the data is to get a hold of, the more likelihood that data is just being completely obliterated by everyone else. So there's pros and cons to gaining access to the data that everyone else has. Again, if you are someone that's stuck, you don't know if you should offer email copywriting, email closing, setting, what to charge for each service, how much you should expect to make per service. You don't even know how to do the service itself. If you did land a client, I recommend you book that free strategy call below. And on that call, we'll chat about where you should go with your business, give you massive clarity. And then if it makes sense too, we can chat about how our HFM mentorship program works, see if it's a good fit for you in your current situation as well as financially. We do not hard sell on our calls. The last thing we want is someone enrolling that isn't 1,000% ready to go all in. If someone's not ready to go all in, we get off the call. Also, make sure to get into that free Facebook group below. We'd love to have you inside, where you can network with your tribe and start learning some free stuff you won't necessarily learn on this channel regarding the 3 topics of email copywriting, email closing, and setting.